Hello and welcome to Wisdom Included. I'm Shelley Carney. This is a collaborative gathering place especially for women to share personal stories, support, and advice, wisdom included. It's Friday with Friends, and I'm happy to introduce you to my friends, mentors, and fellow entrepreneurs so they can share their stories with us. Today, I'm pleased to introduce Executive Director and Founder of Wings for Life International, Anne Edenfield Sweet. Hello, Anne. Why don't you tell us your story?
Sure. I grew up in northern Michigan in a really lovely, wonderful family. Decided my junior to senior year in college that I heard about an airline job and I thought, wow, this sounds great. I got hired by the airline. I went off for one summer, went to 28 countries. It was fabulous. I loved it. Came home, went back to school, graduated, became a home ec teacher, went to Green Bay, Wisconsin. And then the airline called me back and they said, they were Teamsters too, no less, but they said, we'd like to bring you back. I went back, started flying with them. I met a man who was a pilot. And I got him hired by the airline that I was working for. So now we were dating, flying together all over the world, and we decided we were going to get married. And then I thought, I want to stay home more, meaning the United States more. So anyway, I got hired with Continental Airlines. In those days, it's United now. And we decided that we were going to move to Albuquerque. I was never based here. I was based out of Houston, El Paso, or Denver. But we moved to Albuquerque. We were married. We started having children. He worked for a variety of airlines. We had a home in Jamaica. I mean, we were part of the jet set life in retrospect. I mean, it was our life. That's what we did. We were airline people. And then it was August 5th, 1986, and I got a call one day. I was home breastfeeding my infant son, my youngest of four boys, and the call was that my husband had been arrested, thrown down on the ground, hauled off to the old jail in Albuquerque. I didn't even know where it was. Overnight, I became penniless. The government seized and froze everything that we had, and I ended up with the $3.5 million IRS lien. So now I have four little boys, didn't even have health insurance at that point because our health insurance was with some property that we owned, lost everything. We had been a member of a church for 12 years. No one called us from the church. The boys couldn't go next door and play. I couldn't be the Cub Scout leader. I mean, we became lepers. But I joined another church. A man welcomed me in. This pastor actually welcomed me in it when my baby was 2 years old. He hired me to be the youth director. So now I'm a youth director with a big church and a husband who had signed a 15-year plea agreement, conspiracy to import drugs. So here I am as youth director in the church. But we started doing this model of ministry that grew and grew from 9 kids to over 250 youth and children, including my own 4 boys. It was the most wonderful time. And then my husband called 6 years into his sentence, and he called from La Tuna federal prison down by El Paso. He said, I'm coming home. And I ran in that day to say, my husband is coming home from prison. But now the new senior pastor, not the man who had hired me, he had retired, but the new senior pastor in front of everyone said, well, then I can no longer be your pastor. So now I had to leave the church. And it was a terrible day. Second worst day of my life. But if that hadn't happened, there would be no Wings today. So I realized that not everybody is welcomed into church. Not everybody is welcomed in society. When you have a loved one incarcerated, you take on all the persona of every inmate, every crime that exists. And whether you did it or not, you are now the guilty one. And so are your children. So I ended up writing a book. It's called Family Arrested, How to Survive the Incarceration of a Loved One. And then after my book got out, and it was many years later, I decided I'm uniquely qualified to help other families of prisoners. So I started a program that we call Wings for Life International, literally wanting to give people wings to fly for the rest of their life. But we're going to educate people. And that life in our educational program stands for life skills imparted to families through education. We're going to educate people. So we bring in the best speakers that we possibly can. And we actually won the best program in America in crime prevention. And we've won all kinds of other awards too, because we not only teach the kids, but we teach the caregivers, the grandparents, the people raising these children. So now we do two basic programs. We go into our prisons. We do what are called family days in the prisons. We've done them in all of our New Mexico prisons. I've done work in 20 states and all over Kenya and India. And then we do our weekly educational program every Monday night in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And other places have picked up this program as well. And so that we're going to teach jobs, money, parenting. That's a statewide approved program, a parenting program. And then we address issues that are unique to incarceration. So I am uniquely qualified to help people that have incarcerated loved ones or are trying to figure out how do you deal with this situation.
Right. Tell us a little bit about how you went from a program to a nonprofit.
Well, actually, I started it off just doing it. You know, you do something, and well, we need a little money, and we need some pizza to feed the kids that come to the party, and some things like that. Mm-hmm. And then I realized that we were. If somebody made a donation, it went into a church account, and then the church would pay for the pizza. Well, that got to be too much because we started mm-hmm. doing too many things. Mm-hmm. So then I realized, okay, well, we need to start an entity. I looked into it, so that's how we started a nonprofit. Mm-hmm. And so the nonprofit started in 1995. So it's a nonprofit, of course, is a business. It's just not a money-making business. Mm-hmm. So that's how it all started.
So you've been in charge of the nonprofit from 1995 to today.
Correct.
And what are some of the challenges that come along with a nonprofit organization?
Well, or any business, mm-hmm. anybody starting a business. First of all, you better really want to do what you want to do. I'm called to do what I do. I will never retire. I'm doing what I would, if I were retired, I'm doing what I would do because it's so rewarding and I get to change lives. But running a nonprofit is, in the old days, it didn't have all the requirements that it has now. I mean, there are so many laws that have been put in place. We have to file tax returns. They're called 990s. We have to, the board of directors, you have to do certain things. You have to mandate how your records are kept. I mean, it is as, well, I run other businesses, but not all by myself. This nonprofit, I basically do it all now with the help of some CPAs and things like that. But it's very involved. Mm-hmm. And whether it's a nonprofit or for-profit, you've got to understand that going into starting your own business, that you're not only doing what you're called to do and what you really want to do, but then you have to do all that behind-the-scene paperwork. Mm-hmm. And so oftentimes people ask me now, in today's world, the laws have greatly changed over the years. And I tell people, if you're going to start your own nonprofit, if you can partner with somebody else, and if they can be an umbrella organization for you, you can do your particular avenue of that nonprofit, mm-hmm. where you could spend 99% of your time doing what you're called to do, instead of a lot of my time is spent on the busy work of running a business. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot to running a business.
So what are some of the life lessons that you've learned along the way that have really impacted your life and the lives of your family?
Wow. Well, first of all, everybody has something to offer. And that's something that we teach at Wings for Life. And we sit around the dinner table and we learn from everybody else. Maybe how not to make a mistake. Maybe they're mistakes and then we can learn from them. In fact, we want our children to learn. We do not want our children going to prison. So I try to learn from everybody that I meet, because everybody has their unique gifts that they were given. And what do they have to offer to the world, and what makes them so special? And every single person, whether I meet people in prison, which I meet thousands now, they are all unique, special. Children of God is the way I look at them. And so I would say, first of all, learn from everybody. Then try to listen as much as you talk. And I do a lot of talking because I'm going out and talking to a lot of groups, but I really do try to listen too, because everybody has something that's important to share. And I love that.
Oh, so this is kind of an encore career for you. How old were you in 1995 when you first
Oh, gee.
put this together?
Oh, my goodness. 1995. I was 55 at that time.
So
Yeah.
Encore Career.
Oh, I've had so many careers.
Right.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
you were airline, you were...
Oh, I was
of course, a
airline. I
mother.
was a real estate broker. I was vice president of the biggest audiobook publishing company in the world. I was a real estate broker. I did some radio and TV shows. Home ec teacher, a youth director in the church. Oh, then I worked for an international youth ministry program. Oh, yeah. I have many, many different careers.
So I'm going to call this your Encore Career because
It will be the last.
it's built
Yeah.
upon everything
It is.
else, right? So
Yeah.
what are some of the really wonderful things you've done in your Encore Career that were made possible by what you did before?
Well, I tell everybody, everything that I'm doing today is a culmination of all my learning over the years. There's something that comes with age and gray hair. And everybody has a story. Everyone has a story. And when I meet somebody in prison and I say, you're partway through your story, this is not the end. This is just where you are right now. And so how are you going to take this point in your life and direct it to another part that is going to actually really culminate in what you want your life to be? And just because you made a mistake and you're behind bars right now, you can use this experience to help so many other people. And if I hadn't gone through what I went through, there would be no Wings today. So I say, look at me, for heaven's sakes. I'm no one. And yet, because of, and another thing that I always say to people, find those key people in your life that you can always, the road less traveled, you can always take, a million different roads and different paths. What path are you going to take that is going to help you fulfill your calling in life? And I've been blessed because I found those mentors, the teachers, the people that have walked with me and encouraged me. And so I encourage everybody, find those special people in your life, and they are out there. You just have to look for them.
So tell us something about what you're currently working on, any projects?
Oh, my goodness. Every day there's a new project. In fact, what just came up today, as a matter of fact, is I have an agency now that I think will record me doing live 8 lesson plans for a book that I wrote. It's called Strengthening Families from the Inside Out. And it's our educational program. And we're going to actually be doing some of that training in some of our prisons in New Mexico and teaching inmates about jobs and money and communication and how they're going to get home and how they're going to interact once they get out of prison, because 95% of people get out of prison. So how are we going to help them get out and be successful? And how are they going to get that job? And no one has hired me now in 32 years that didn't know me, because of a husband in prison. And I'm sure they saw a $3.5 million IRS lien, and who is this lady? And we don't want to be around her. And so you have to build a relationship with people. So I'm going to be teaching this to the inmates. So I'm so excited. So not only are we going to be doing this educational training in the prisons, but now I just today found an agency that will film us, and then I'll be able to put a disc together. I'll be able to do training materials, and it can go into communities, it can go into congregations, it can go into prisons all over this world. And then we can really help and start changing lives. So that's the next little project out there.
Okay. Well, if people would like to learn more or get involved in some of these trainings or find out about what you're doing, where can they go? Oh,
absolutely. Please send them to our website, Wings for Life. So we're trying to give people wings for, so FOR, Life, international.org. And the international is because I have done a lot of international work, and we've got programs in Kenya and India that are I've taught people how to do this. And people can call me. They can call me on my cell, 505-554-6698. Our office number, 505-291-6412. And I always teach everybody, you always repeat those numbers. So now I will repeat those numbers.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to put it in the description below.
Okay.
So if you miss the number, you can just look in the description.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because that's one of those life skills that I teach. You always repeat the number, because everybody can't always write it down as quickly as you say it. So good.
So we'll have that in the description. And is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, volunteers are always welcome. We do a free program every Monday night. We take donations. Don't give your clothes to Goodwill or anybody else. Give them to us, because we teach people how to dress appropriately, how to dress for the workplace. People are coming out of prison. They don't have anything. They don't have dishes, forks, spoons, sheets, a jacket in the winter. Their children don't have things. We appreciate that. We do an after-dinner tutoring program for our kids. So there are a million ways that they can be involved there. Next week, we've got an artist coming in. They're going to teach the kids how to make cards for Blue Star moms to send overseas. We're going to pick up trash next week. Make Albuquerque beautiful, make a difference day. There are so many ways people can help us. So they can come, they can volunteer. If they've got kids that need school credit, my gosh, send them our way. Then we'll keep their children out of prison too, because they're going to meet people that made some poor choices in their lives. So there's so many ways. So I invite everybody, anybody listening, come and join us. It's so much fun. I might be going back to Kenya. They're begging for me to go back. You can do some traveling with us. A million different ways that we can get involved.
And they can find all this information on your website?
On the website, or give me a call. I love to talk to people too.
Okay, great. So look for that on the description box, the link to the website. Make sure you go there and check out all the opportunities you have to help out.
And we have tons of pictures. So if you wonder, what in the world is a family day in a prison? Every prison that we go to, we take all kinds of pictures. We put together photo collages and all the comments. And it truly is fun. And if you want to go to prison with us, I promise I will take you there and I will take you home. So we have people that have volunteered. Last week, we were in our women's prison, and two of our volunteers rode up with me, and they were petrified. Oh, my goodness, what am I going to do in a prison? What am I going to say to these people? On the way home, our intern from New Mexico Highlands social work program said, I smiled the entire time. She said, I can't believe I just spent 3 hours smiling, and I'm so happy. And the only time my eyes teared up is when I saw the families have to leave. She said, I don't know when I've been so touched in my life. So come to prison with us. Come and enjoy everything that we do. It's fun.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for speaking with us today, Anne, and telling us about Wings for Life. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much.
And for Wisdom Included, I'm Shelley Carney. Leave a comment below if you had a difficult situation thrust upon you and you had the strength to overcome it, and tell me your story. If this is your first time here, please take a moment to subscribe. I'll continue to post new videos several times each week featuring personal stories, support, and advice, wisdom included.